Okay, hey, I'm Natalie Hill, and I am here with Ellen Vig. Hey, Ellen.
Hello.
And so I met Ellen on in a Facebook group for women who are traveling in vans and RVs, and just watched an interview that Lulu did of you, Ellen, about power. And I
Great.
thought, and then you came in the group and asked, so you said, hey, I'm going to shoot a video about power stations and power uh, for
Yep.
your
Solar panels.
stuff. And
Yep.
you, what questions do you have? And the questions just poured in for you.
Yes.
I know because I asked a bunch of them. And so I wanted to interview you and just get more information from you because I think this is a really, it's a challenging topic. Most people like
Yes.
are pretty baffled by it. We really don't know how
Yep.
to figure it out. And uh, so I just thought, hey, let's talk about it in a video and see what we can learn.
Great.
So
I'm
just
happy to help.
awesome. So before
Yeah.
we jump in, Ellen, why don't you tell us just a little bit about you? What do you do? How did you learn what you know about power?
I am not in the field of electronics or power or anything, but I've been a solar junkie kind of since I first learned about them many, many years ago. And we have a huge solar system that we put onto our house. And I wanted to do the same in the RV because I wanted to be able to boondock. So we have a 34-foot Class A RV. And I love going to campgrounds where there's no electricity, no running water, right on the ocean. And I wanted power, so I wanted to put in a solar system. So I started researching and seeing what I should put in. And I just learned more and more about solar and the components that you need, and then power stations on top of the battery bank systems that you would put in an RV, because I also decided to go minivan camping after doing this whole thing with the solar in the RV. So I started investigating power stations and portable solar panels to charge them. And I made a few mistakes. There was one thing I mentioned in my video is that I got this great power station. It was like 1,000 watts, 1,000 watt hours, and I thought I was all set. And I went minivan camping, and my refrigerator kept shutting off because I didn't know about an important feature that I now know about, which is the UPS function. So, yes, I just kept learning more and more, and now I'm sharing that knowledge.
Okay, so I've already got a bunch of notes. In fact, I'm going to
Hmm.
grab a bigger notepad for notes because this 3x5 note card is not going to cover them all. So the first question is, did you say UPS, like,
Yep.
United Postal Service, only not?
Yeah, this UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply, and that keeps a power station kind of on standby so that when it detects a demand from something that's plugged in, it will turn the power station back on. Because power stations, when they don't detect any demand, they'll shut down, just like your computer will go to sleep, your phone will go to sleep. The power station will do the same thing in order to conserve battery power. So if you don't have a UPS function, when something tries to draw electricity, nothing will happen. You actually have to push the button on the power station in order to power it back on.
All right, so here's what I've done to prepare the thoughts that I put
Okay.
together. So first of all, I thought about, see, like I don't have a van, or I'm preparing for van life. So I'm
Uh-huh.
in the thinking stage. So I listed the things that I think, oh, I might want to have these with me, probably too many to take in a van. And
Yeah.
then, so I have that list, and I've used your very nifty spreadsheet.
Oh, good. Was it helpful?
I have it waiting for you to. So when I have my electric items, second,
Hmm.
I want to look at, okay, what kind of power station might I need? And since we're shooting this during Black Friday, there's all kinds of sales, but I personally
Right.
don't even know if they're a good deal or not.
Hmm.
I
Right.
don't know what the regular prices are on these things. So there's that.
Right.
I don't know how much energy or time we have to look into all this stuff, but I figure, hey, let's just get started and see what we can see.
Right. Yeah, Black Friday is really tempting. But power stations go on sale all throughout the year, and they have other sales, President's Day sale, Fourth
Right,
of
right.
July sale. So, there's always some sale. So it's really nice that there's a big sale right now. But if you miss Black Friday, you're not out of luck.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so we can look
Hmm.
at your spreadsheet. So we'll start here. So I found this. Uh, can you see my screen? Can you see this fridge now on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at this Alpicool. I like it a lot.
Hmm.
It's a dual
Yep.
zone, so you can have a freezer in one compartment and a fridge in the other. And I'm sure that's going to alter how much power it uses. And
Yes.
I went down here to more
Hmm.
details, and it
Yeah.
says it is 12 volts. And
Right.
where I read somewhere
Yeah,
about
I think I
what?
saw it up in the
There we go.
description. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, 45 decibels. Let's see. 110. Um, 45 watts for eco, and then the
uh,
max is 60.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is what we're looking at right here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll go back. So I put 45 for watts because I
Mm-hmm.
would use it in eco. If I was cooling it down at home, it wouldn't matter
Right.
because it'd be plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? How do we fill out the rest of this stuff?
Yeah. So a refrigerator, it typically uses, sorry, a refrigerator cycles on and off. And if you're in a warm environment, it will cycle on and off more, because it'll work more and rest less. And if you're in a cool environment, it will work less and rest more. So the average is going to be about half and half. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So yeah, so you want to put a
Right?
12 in the hours, and then you can see the total wattage. You're only using one refrigerator, so the total wattage is 45, and the watt hours, which is how long it has to maintain that 45, is 540 watt hours.
Which
So
was
when you're looking
ours.
when you're
How do
looking at a power station,
hours?
you'll see
Yeah.
watts and watt hours. And the watts is remains the same as long as you're using just that, but the
Yeah.
watt hours is how long you're using it for. The hours to 24, it did 24 times 45, because
Uh,
now you're using 45 watts for 24 hours. So
oh,
45 times 24 hours,
this was only one. It would be 45 watt hours.
you got it.
Okay, now it's starting to make a little bit of sense to me.
All right.
So 45 is, I'm just going to do the math right here.
Hmm.
That equals 12 times 45. Yes,
Correct.
140.
That's
Okay,
what the watt hours are.
that's
It's
exactly
the
what it is.
watts times how long you use it for.
Okay, I'm feeling so much smarter, just really quickly here. Okay, great. And that is something that we're going to be using that at the same time as anything else on here.
Right. Yep. So you might as well check that box right now. You got it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is 200
The
watts. I don't know what 100 means.
Oh, there it is, mini space heater.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's 200 watts. So you can run that for 5 times as long as that other heater, which is going to be way too much for your minivan anyway.
Right, right. Well, yeah. I mean, even in my living room, it runs for maybe 15 seconds at a time. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting, but still the amount of wattage that it's using in those 15 seconds, plus it's just way too big.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many minutes or hours do you think you might use something like that? I mean, it's hard to know because it depends on how many hours you're in your van and how cold it is
Right.
outside. Let's just say,
Exactly.
you're going to run it for 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we've got
So
a regular.
that's less than your fridge.
Well, I would hope so. Okay, we're not going to use a regular space heater, not in a van. Rechargeable light. We definitely want rechargeable lights.
Yep. And you might want more than one rechargeable light.
Oh, yeah, let's put more than one. Because is this kind of like one light bulb?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have 3 of these.
Okay.
So the question is that I would have is, do I want to take a microwave? I mean, there's
Yeah.
multiple
That's,
cook things. You've got
yeah.
gas stoves, you've got electrical burners, you've got
Right.
instant pots, you've got
Mm-hmm.
microwaves. I mean, how many ways do I need? I
Yeah.
use things at home, but
Right. Yeah. That's why this is so different for every person because,
oh,
you might not consider it an essential item. Other people may.
yeah. And if you're in a van, a microwave takes up a lot of space. That's a big
Yeah.
item. So
I have seen a lot of people though who have microwaves in their minivans.
you have.
Oh yeah.
For most of my life, Ellen, I was a microwave snob. I thought this is like, I don't know what it's doing to your food. It's turning it
Yeah.
into, it's changing the DNA structure. I don't know what I
Yeah.
thought. But lately,
It's
just in the last few months, I've like been, I think I'm going to microwave that, see what happens. And, I'm not up to microwaving bread. In the olden days, it turned it into
Yeah.
rubber. I don't know what
Right.
it is now. But and I'm not sure I would want to cook a steak in a microwave. That's a little
Yeah.
bit far, but it is
Yeah.
a very convenient way to heat up a meal. And
Absolutely.
like in 10 minutes a day, maybe 15 at the most,
Yeah.
it could be my only, one of my only things.
Right.
Plus, here's the other reason I'm thinking of a microwave. I've pretty much I have cleared out my kitchen to pretend I'm living in a van right now.
Ooh, nice. Good plan.
One bowl, one spoon, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cooking with these 2 skillets. One is a
Mm-hmm.
cast iron. Cast iron is dirty. It's hard to clean,
Yes.
in a van. The other one is a stainless steel. Again, I'm using a lot of water to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't use any soap. I'm thinking, are you going to want to do this living in a van? Have to have,
Absolutely not. Yeah.
that's, I'm
You
thinking,
want,
yeah, I want a microwave.
yeah, you want non-stick
I know, and
for
non-stick.
the
It's
minivan.
very difficult to be such a health nut and non-stick. I won't even talk about it here, but it's like, ah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Instant Pot. I really love my Instant Pot. There is a
Uh-huh.
mini. There is a mini. It's 3 quarts and it's
Yeah.
700. And so I wouldn't use this every day, but if I used it, I don't know, I'll say 15 minutes a day because I might use it for 30 minutes or something every other day. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So average it out. Yeah.
This electric cooktop is just a deal breaker. I think I don't have electric cooktop because it puts it above 1200
Yeah. It's an energy hog for sure.
total energy hog. There's got to
Yeah.
be. Heck, I can either cook in the microwave or I can cook in the gas stove, or
Yeah. Or you can use one of those mini dash appliances. That's why those are so popular for van life because they're low wattage. The highest one is the big one. That's 760 watts.
yeah, that's the electric griddle. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check out those dashes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I think like we don't really need to look at all of these appliances that I looked at because we've already got them in the sheet,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I can link to them if people want to see what I found, but I think what we should do right now is go looking at let me just duplicate this. Let's look at power stations.
Okay.
Is that what we call them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now the Ecoflow Delta 2 is on Black Friday special. That's a really good one. Yeah, that one.
So Ellen, this says 1,024 watt WH. That means life hours,
That's
right?
watt hours.
And
Watt hours.
I heard you say that this life PO4, which stands for, tell us
Yep.
what that stands for.
So that's the chemical formula for lithium iron phosphate. So
And
if you look at the
I thought,
periodic table, Li is lithium, Fe is iron, and PO4 is
oh,
the formula for phosphate.
and you said in your video, which I highly
Mhm.
recommend, and I will link here, that you could get something like, did you say 30 times more life out of it with the lithium um, phosphate than if it's used some other kind of thing that I can't remember what is?
Yeah, so power stations use one of two types of batteries. One is the lithium ion, not iron, ion, ION,
Yeah.
and then that typically has there's something called charging cycles, and that's how many times the battery can be completely discharged and recharged before it gets to 80% of its stated battery capacity.
Okay.
So, like this battery, excuse me, is 1,024 watt hours. And this is a lithium iron phosphate battery. So that has charging cycle of more like 3,000 to 4,000 before it reaches that 80% of its 1,024 watt hour capacity.
Okay. So let me just make sure I'm tracking you here. So there's two kinds of batteries. There's
Yep.
lithium ion, which we may
Mm-hmm.
see of those uh,
Yep.
somewhere. These three that we see on the screen right now are all the lithium iron phosphate,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
just life PO4 for short.
Yep.
Let's go back here and say, okay, I want to be able to use the fridge and something to cook with, like
Yep.
maybe. So this adds up to 894. I'm not including all of the other things because I know I'm not going to be using everything at the same time. So let's go back to the gadget, the power
Yep.
station. I'm going to move this over here. Okay, so I looked at watt hours, but we're supposed to be looking at watts, and this is actually good because it's 1800.
Right.
It's more than I thought it was.
Right.
So I can run a couple things
You
at this.
can. You can.
I
Yep.
could be running the blow dryer while I'm cooking,
Yeah.
but barely. Okay, so this is great. So you think that so let's just compare this to this Jackery because they're both on
Mm-hmm.
sale for the same price.
Right.
Okay, so this is 1800 watts. The Jackery
Mm-hmm.
is 1500 watts.
Yep.
So it's less powerful.
Yep.
Are there other reasons that the Ecoflow that you think it's a better deal than this Jackery?
I have not looked at the Jackery. Some of them have proprietary plugs. Uh, so like you can only use their power cords with it or their solar panels with it
Oh,
because because they have specific plugs. I don't know if that Jackery does or not. I haven't looked at that specific one.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes hard to figure that out. You have to look at uh, when people post reviews,
Right.
sometimes they'll post photos of the sides of them, and you can actually see the ports where you connect things in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So sometimes it takes some investigation.
Yeah.
But I have seen the reviews on YouTube and complaints from people where they say, oh, I damaged my cord and I can't find another one. So, I just have this 25-pound brick that I can't do anything with because I don't have a power cord for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes if you go into um, where all the photos are,
Yeah.
yeah, and you cycle through those, sometimes people will show um yeah, I don't know what that orange one was.
Yeah. I don't know what that orange one was either. They're showing,
Okay, that's the solar panel.
yeah. Oh, maybe
Yeah,
the
a lot of them have proprietary plugs, so like
so this one has two USB A's. Uh, it looks like two USB C's. And I think the fast charge is also USB A's. Is that correct?
yeah, so these are the output, not the input.
Output, meaning this is things that I can charge.
Right. That's what you plug things into to charge
So
or to use.
what about, don't we want one that also has alternating current things that I can charge? Like
Yep,
that would
and
um like the Instant Pot or the microwave, right?
right. And those are sometimes on a different side. Sometimes not everything is on the same side of
Right,
the power station.
right.
So if you go through more photos, they might show um, where things are plugged into. Yeah, so there's another side of it. So it looks like that's the back side,
Well, so that's where you can plug in the AC things in the back.
right?
All right. So you're saying, oh, this is interesting. Did we get back to a different page? Because it
Yeah,
used to be
so my
on,
suggestion is if there's a power station you're looking at, put
yeah,
it in your cart because there are so many. It's just so easy to get
yeah.
confused.
Okay, I'm going to put this one in my cart because you think this is a good one. Is that what you said?
It is a good one if you don't mind that the AC outlets are on the back.
Oh, because it might be nice to have everything on one side.
Right.
Okay. Like this Anker,
Yeah, Anker's a very good brand.
this Anker has it looks like it might have everything on the front.
Yeah, except for the charging. The charging is not on the that you plug into to charge the actual power station is not on the front, but you don't need that on the front if you're not using it, if you're not charging it from household electric
Yeah.
in your van, then
So what do you think? How much of a problem is it to have things charging on two opposite sides? Does this
it all
limit
depends on your setup.
it limits where you
So,
can put it, doesn't it? Because you've got to have this
yeah,
fan visible
right, right.
or like open. And there might be a
Yep,
fan on the other side too. I don't know.
right. Yep, you do need to have the fans open to the air so that it can cool down.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so you think Ecoflow is a good brand. I'm going to put this in my cart just so I can remember that you said
Yep,
Ecoflow was a brand, even if that one isn't going to be the one that I
right.
would
And Ecoflow does have some proprietary stuff. So,
does. You
um,
know, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What other brands do you think are pretty good?
Uh, s- let's see. Anker is a good brand. Jackery is good. Um, I believe it's Jackery that still uses the lithium ion for some of theirs.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that, but like so
Yeah,
many,
that one's a
yeah,
lithium iron
it's
phosphate.
way right out there, but
Yeah.
and this one has 1500 watts. This other
Look
one,
at that one. The it says the one right under where your cursor is.
this one,
Yeah, that one just says lithium.
ah,
So I'm
right,
wondering
okay,
if that's a lithium ion or lithium iron phosphate.
right. Oh, lithium
Oh,
ion.
there we go. Lithium ion. There you go. Lithium ion.
Okay, all right. So that's not a good one to
Right.
get.
Yeah. So if you look at some of the reviews, people will puncture lithium ion batteries. Like they'll take a screwdriver and puncture it and watch it just catch, just like explode on fire. It's pretty dramatic.
And they do this just to make a dramatic YouTube video or what?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So that Jackery looks like it's probably also lithium ion.
one here because it just says
Just
lithium.
says lithium.
So some of the Jackeries are the LifePo, but some of them
Right.
are not. Okay,
Right.
very. And one of the other, is it Bluetti is one of the brands that a lot of people have. What do you think of that
Yeah.
brand?
Yeah. Bluetti is also good. But they also use some proprietary plugs.
Mm,
Uh, and so there are a few Bluettis that are are really good. But you know, you have to go in and see what's important to you. Do you want the name brand? Some people really like having a name brand. It gives them a sense of security.
mm,
Um, you know, so that's what's important to them. For me, that's never been a thing.
right. First of all, thank you for learning all of this stuff so that you can pass it on to us. Thank you for being such a patient and good teacher so that we can actually make sense of it because, it's complicated. And
It is really complicated. And, you know, I still get stuff mixed up, like what I was saying with the watts instead of the volts for looking for the output.
yeah,
You know, I didn't learn this in school.
yeah. And it's like a foreign language because most of us
Yeah,
are not talking about this stuff all the time.
right, right.
And kudos to you for learning it because you could have just let your husband deal with it all
Yeah,
because electrical engineer, right?
yeah,
But you dove in and you studied it and you learned it yourself.
yeah, I did. Yeah.
And the last thing I want to thank you for before thanking you for spending all this time is for making that awesome spreadsheet.
Oh, I'm glad that it's proving helpful. I've gotten some feedback on it so far, and so far it's been good. I'm waiting to hear, you know, you made a mistake here, which I'm sure I did because, you know, I'm not an expert in Google Sheets or Excel. You know, I've used it plenty, but you know,
That's
so
okay though.
yeah,
We caught one typo today, and
yeah.
if anybody finds some mistake in the math or whatever, you can just fix it and
Let
say,
me know.
"Here's the revision." Yeah.
Right.
So I hope that this video will help people who wanted to learn how to use the spreadsheet because like I hadn't filled it out yet. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. It's like, okay, I still don't
Yeah.
really know how to make sense of it. So that was great.